Hey everybody, today we're going to talk about worldly wisdom. Worldly wisdom says to do whatever feels right to you. Now, for a period in my life, I succumbed to that philosophy. And why do I say succumbed? The word succumb means to submit to an overpowering force or yield to an overwhelming desire to give up or give in. I came to a point where I could not explain my thoughts or behaviors even to myself. When the enemy saw my vulnerability, he swooped in for the kill. He sent men who had already given in to their lusts and perversions with an explanation for my thoughts and feelings. Their reasoning was that much more believable because they seemed to read me like a book. And for a very brief period, I experienced a measure of peace because I had at least settled on who I was. I told myself, this is who I am. This is just who I will be. I was walking in worldly wisdom, and much of the turmoil ceased, but for only a season. Because worldly wisdom is merely a counterfeit, a mockery of what is good and right and pure and true. I soon became so miserable that I almost gave away my mind completely. I came close to wholeheartedly believing that Satan's ways are better than God's, believing that what is right is wrong and what is wrong is right. It's called reprobation, and it nearly happened to me. When God intervened in my life and showed me the truth, I lunged for that truth. I felt as if I were on the edge of a cliff and that if I didn't hold on to him, I would surely fall away into utter destruction and damnation. While following worldly philosophies and beliefs, I had experienced death rather than life. I was ready for life, and I leapt for the chance to know it. My past has become part of my present ministry. If I had been allowed to choose a testimony, I would not have chosen mine. I just wouldn't. No matter how much the world openly embraces the sin of homosexuality, it still leaves a sense of shame and disgust in the minds of most people, and I do not find particular pride in revealing that. As I've shared my testimony, I've heard some interesting conversations and comments from those who have chosen not to follow Christ, but have chosen to fulfill the lust of their flesh. I've been told a person cannot overcome homosexuality. I've been told once gay, always gay. It's even been said to me, you could never have been that way. You are a liar. Yet my life speaks something different. The world tried to tell me who I was, and for a while I believed it. But when it came to making a choice, I chose life, and I chose godly wisdom. God's word says, see to it that no one takes you captive through philosophy and empty deception, according to the tradition of men, according to the elementary principles of the world, rather than according to Christ. That's Colossians 2:8. To know Christ is to know and experience life. To embrace the teachings of worldly wisdom is to embrace death. The moment I cut off the wisdom of the world, I immediately began to experience hope and joy and the acceptance and the embrace of God Himself. God has called us to walk in an ever-deepening realm of maturity. Still sons and daughters, but not immature babies who are tossed here and there by waves and carried about by every wind of doctrine, by the trickery of men, by craftiness and deceitful scheming. That's Ephesians 4:14. Whom will you believe? The world or the God who created that world? Whom will you follow? The deceiver or the one who leads to redemption and life? Would you be free? Then there really is only one choice, and his name is Jesus. He will not leave you alone in your struggle for freedom. He is a jealous and protective God who walks through the healing process with his children. Be wise. Know Christ. Here are a few questions to help you in meditation to help you renew your mind. What does the wisdom of the world tell you about yourself? Is change possible, or should you just accept who you really are? Where does worldly wisdom break down? How does God reveal the truth to you and open up your blind eyes to see? Now, here are a few truths from meditation directly from God's Word. Then we will no longer be infants, tossed back and forth by the waves and blown here and there by every wind of teaching and by the cunning and craftiness of men in their deceitful scheming. Again, that's Ephesians 4:14. See to it that no one takes you captive through hollow and deceptive philosophy, which depends on human tradition and the basic principles of this world rather than on Christ. That's Colossians 2:8. Would you allow the Lord to reveal worldly wisdom to you even as you sleep tonight? Trust Him to lead you to greater depths of wisdom even in your sleep. Have a great week and be transformed by the renewing of your mind.